Welcome to the Managing Forward series of online courses. We're excited that you've chosen to join us. This series of courses is presented by the Henry W. Block School of Management at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, and hosted by the Missouri Small Business Development Centers. The Missouri SBDC serves entrepreneurs like yourself across the state. We are here to help business owners make confident decisions. Our counseling, coaching, and training make it easier for Missouri business owners to reach their potential, whether currently in operation or just starting out. We have the right tools, resources, and expertise to help you accomplish your goals. Find a local center near you at MissouriSBDC.org.
I am Alan Weber. I teach at the Block School, and I've written 3 books. I do a lot of consulting. And my second book was entitled Data-Driven Business Models. And so we're going to talk about online business, starting from the perspective of business models. I want to get across what's important, what the priorities are, how you should think about it, what sort of strategy you should go forward with in terms of blending people and technology online. And I've worked with all kinds of different industries, manufacturers, retailers, wholesalers, not-for-profits, service industries, all kinds of things. So I'm going to cover what you need to understand and give you the language so that we can talk about it and think about it and hopefully do you some real good today. So you're going to learn the importance of business models, what makes online business models different. And probably the most important thing, actually, is blending people and technology online. I've been doing this kind of thing for a couple of decades now. And people are people. And blending the way people think and act with technology can be a real challenge. So I want to cue you in on some of the things that you need to look out for and try to give you a leg up. Some of the skills you're going to gain are how to choose a business model, how to think about what your business is, how it's going to go about doing what it does, and how you can, as a manager, make the decisions to deal with that, and how you're going to use technology to support it. What are your roles? What are the roles of technology? And how do you maximize the benefit of that? Okay. So we're going to start with 4 sections. We're going to decide how we choose a business model, how we develop an effective online business model, how we make that really work with e-commerce. And it seems like more and more, especially with COVID, everybody's going to that. It's some form of e-commerce, if you have a restaurant or people are picking things up outside. And then finally guide you into how you're going to drive that success as you're the one who is responsible for that. So let's begin with decide, how do we choose a business model? Well, what is a business model? It's a plan for making a profit. It's how we do what we do in such a way that we benefit ourselves and others. It's a combination of our strengths and weaknesses, our cost structure, the things that we do better than other people, or the locations we have that make us better. It's our culture as well as our customers' culture. It's what we do when we interact. And it really defines the process of how we deliver on a unique value proposition. Like I live in a small town in Missouri and we have a gas station. It's the only gas station. Okay, well, that certainly is definitely a part of their unique value proposition. I won't go into things that aren't in their unique value proposition, but I'm sure you can guess. So the online business models are different. Let's just stop right there for a second and say they're different. It's a different cost structure from having let's say, physical retail space, or a manufacturer moving products through wholesalers to retails. Cost structure is different. The value proposition is different. So for example, we live in a time today where nobody has to go to a retail store ever again if they don't want to. And we've been proving that with COVID. So there's a certain amount of desire, there's a certain amount of entertainment in going into a retail store, much like when you go into a restaurant, you go in because you want to. So there's a very different situation on the online side. It's more convenient, it's easier to shop, it's easier to compare, it saves me a trip. The value proposition, what I give up and what I get as a consumer, the cost structure, what it takes you to deliver it is different, and the channels are different. Selling direct to a consumer, having somebody not come in the door, that's different. It's not the traditional model from 1950 where it went from manufacturers to wholesalers to retailers to consumers. So we can and better have lower costs. There are areas where we have much lower costs in making and closing the sale. We can save money on real estate and rent, for example. We can have much quicker communication. We can deal with people through their phone and give them immediate feedback. Your order is ready. Your item is in shipment. Here's where the shipment is. And we can leverage our brick and mortar. Physical retail is not dead. We've spread out in much the way that radio didn't kill newspaper and television didn't kill radio and so on. It's just different now. And so we want to leverage our existing investment. We don't want to waste our money chasing a sunk cost we can't get back. But retail stores have value. Physical presence has value, and we want to leverage that. Some of the disadvantages, we have price shoppers, and it's not a situation like, for example, when you sit down in a restaurant, you don't compare menus from 5 other restaurants at the same time and try to compare price, but online, you would compare price. It certainly takes more technology. It shifts. Let's stop on that for a second, because it doesn't just shift the technology, it shifts the people we need. It shifts the skills that our people need. It shifts the way we use our time. I mean, you just go back in human history. It's the difference between plowing by yourself or farming by yourself versus farming with a mule versus farming with a tractor. You spend your time differently. It can threaten a brick and mortar. It can change the value of our retail locations, which, if reasonable, we want to try to leverage. Okay, so when we talk about choosing an online business model, we want to have some choices. We need to choose between competition or synergy. So in other words, are we trying to take over a market, or the fact that the market is there is a plus when people have choices? Do we want to work with other organizations, or do we want to be separate? What are we going to do with our own internal culture and the culture of our customers and the way that we embrace or reject technology? Are we going to build, buy, rent, or share? How are we going to go about getting that technology? Are we going to try to get things out of a shrink wrap box, or are we going to spend some money building things? And both have their advantages. One of the advantages of building technology online is that we own it and that we can reuse it in perpetuity.